Welcome back to the Ultimate Enlisted Guide. Today we're going to be looking at plane tactics. Now, you might be thinking, plane tactics doesn't sound that hard. Just point the nose of the bad guys and shoot. But it's only ever that easy. Flying in Enlisted, it's kind of like waltzing with a grizzly bear. Sure, it can be exhilarating, but one wrong step, and, well, you're toast. Today we're going to be diving into the nitty-gritty of not just surviving up there, but really owning the airspace. Think of this as your crash course in turning those flybys into surgical strikes and leaving your enemies wondering what hit them. But before we pull any fancy maneuvers, let's address the elephant in the cockpit. Why is flying in Enlisted such a challenge? Well, it's a combination of factors that'll test not only your reflexes, but your strategic thinking. And maybe, just maybe, your sanity. First off, you are a flying target billboard. You attract attention like a disco ball. At a penguin convention, you got enemy fighters buzzing around, like angry hornets. And you got anti-aircraft guns spitting fire from below, let's just say. Maintaining a low profile, it's not really an option. Secondly,
ammo isn't exactly growing on trees up there. You can't just hold down the trigger and hope for the best. You've got to be strategic. You've got to make each shot count, because running dry mid-fight is about as fun as a flat tire on a date night. And finally, the big kahuna, the ultimate skill tester, situational awareness. So easy to get tunnel vision when you're focused on a target. But remember, in Enlisted, danger can come from anywhere. You got to be scanning the skies. You got to be checking your six, anticipating enemy movements. It's like a chess grandmaster with wings. All right, so we've established that flying in Enlisted is no walk in the park. But hey, that's part of the thrill rate. Overcoming challenges, proving your skills, emerging victorious from a swirling dogfight. Now let's talk about how to turn those challenges into advantages. And that starts with the cornerstone of air combat, the strafing run. Picture this, you're screaming across the battlefield, hugging the terrain, your guns spitting fire, and enemy troops scattering like roaches when the lights come on. That is a strafing run. And when executed correctly, it's a symphony of destruction and a thing of beauty. But it's not just about flying low and fast. It's about finding that sweet spot. That sweet spot of speed and altitude that lets you deliver a knockout punch without becoming a pincushion for enemy fire. Think of it like a perfectly executed bagpipe. Get in, get the loot, get out before the alarms go off. And here's where Enlisted throws in a little twist. Strafing runs are even more effective when you coordinate them with your ground troops. Imagine you're pinned down by enemy fire, taking cover behind a rock. That's about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Suddenly, your friendly neighborhood pilot swoops in, clears out the threat, and gives you the breathing room you need to push forward. Talk about a confidence boost. It's like having your own personal air support guardian angel watching over you from above. And trust me, there's nothing quite like seeing your squad mates cheer as you rain down fire on the enemy from the heavens. It's a feeling of pure awesome. I know some of you lone wolves out there. Can't I just go in solo and be a one-man wrecking crew? Sure, you can try it. But communication is king, especially when it comes to air support. Going in guns blazing without talking to your squad. It's like throwing a surprise party and forgetting to invite the guest of honor. Awkward, to say the least. As simple, hey guys, I'm about to drop some freedom on those baddies. Just a heads up can make all the difference between a heroic moment and a tragic, friendly fire incident. And let's be honest, nobody wants to be that guy who accidentally takes out their own team. It's not a good look. And the post-match chat will be brutal. So, embrace the power of teamwork. Chat with your squad, coordinate your attacks, and watch the magic happen as you dominate the battlefield together. Now, let's move on and talk about something a little more advanced, the dive and weave maneuver. This is where things get seriously spicy. The dive and weave maneuver. Now, this is where things get seriously spicy. We're talking high-speed, ground-hugging acrobatics, threading the needle between trees and buildings, while enemy bullets, they're whizzing past your cockpit like angry mosquitoes. It's not for the faint of heart, but when pulled off correctly, oh man, it's a display of skill and daring that'll make Maverick himself jealous. But before we get into the how-to, let's define what the dive and weave actually is. So essentially, it's a surprise attack where you use your plane's speed and agility to get up close and personal with the enemy. You deliver a devastating blow before they can even react. It's like that moment in a horror movie when the killer suddenly pops out from the shadows. Except in this case, you're the killer, and your plane is the shadow. Spooky, right? Now, imagine this. You're soaring high above the battlefield, and you spot a juicy target below. Maybe it's a cluster of enemy tanks, or a heavily fortified bunker. Now, if you do a standard bombing run, that's way too predictable, and way too risky. Those seasoned enlisted players, they'll see you coming a mile away, and they'll be ready with their anti-aircraft guns. But you're not a standard pilot. You're a dive and weave maestro, a master of the aerial ambush. So instead of that straight bombing run, you push the nose down, you dive towards the ground, like a hawk after a field mouse. The ground rushes up to meet you, trees and buildings blurring past. In a dizzying rush, enemy fire streaks past. But you're too fast, too agile. You're weaving, dodging, juking, jiving. You turn your plane into an airborne jitterbug. That's impossible to hit. And then, you pull up at the last second. You're skimming the rooftops. You're threading the needle between obstacles. It's like you've become one with the machine. And then, bam! You unleash a glorious, concentrated burst of firepower on those unsuspecting enemies below, sending them scrambling for cover. Like ants under a magnifying glass, you pull up sharply. You disappear back into the sky like a phantom, leaving behind a trail of smoke and a whole lot of bewildered bad guys. Your squad mates. They're safe and sound, all thanks to your masterful intervention. They erupt in cheers over the comms, singing your praises as the hero of the hour. It's enough to make a pilot's ego swell. But hey, you deserve it. Now, that's the cinematic version, the Hollywood action movie take on the dive and weave. But let's get real for a moment. To pull off this maneuver in the heat of battle, it takes practice, precision, and a whole lot of guts. Timing is everything. Dive too early, and you'll give the enemy time to react. You'll turn yourself into a very expensive fireworks display. Dive too late, and well, you'll be kissing the dirt before you can say Mayday. And let's not forget about those pesky obstacles, weaving between trees, buildings, rock formations at high speed. It's like navigating a chaotic obstacle course, designed by a caffeine-fueled squirrel. One wrong move, one miscalculation, and you'll be tasting dirt faster than a hungry earthworm. But you know what? That's part of what makes the dive and weave so exhilarating, so rewarding. It's a high-risk, high-reward move that separates the casual flyers from the true aces. It's a test of skill, nerve, and a dash of crazy. That one mastered can turn the tide of battle in an instant. So, why risk it all for this maneuver? Well, aside from the sheer adrenaline rush and the bragging rights that come with pulling it off, the dive and weave offers some serious tactical advantages that can make the difference between victory and defeat. First, it's all of the element of surprise. Enemy troops are less likely to expect an attack that comes in so low and fast. They're used to planes soaring high above, dropping bombs from a safe distance. But you're not playing by their rules. You're coming in hot, fast, unexpected. You're hitting them before they even know what hit them. Second, the dive and weave makes you a much harder target to hit by constantly changing your altitude and direction. You're weaving, bobbing, like a prize fighter in the ring. You're throwing off the enemy's aim, making it damn near impossible for them to get a beat on you. It's like trying to swat a fly. That's doing the jitterbug. Frustrating. And ultimately futile. And finally, the dive and weave. It can be a lifesaver, a get-out-of-jail-free card. In the middle of a hairy dogfight, let's say you find yourself with a couple of enemy fighters on your tail, breathing down your neck, like overzealous fans at a concert. Well, a well-executed dive and weave can shake them off, give you those precious seconds you need to regroup, reassess, and come back swinging. Now, to truly appreciate the power of the dive and weave, let's dive into a specific example, a real-life enlisted scenario where this maneuver shines brighter than a disco ball in a power outage. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're on the map Village, a sprawling battleground, dotted with quaint houses, winding roads. And there's this dense forest flanking one side. Now you're piloting a nimble fighter. You're zipping across the clear blue sky. Your squad, they're pushing toward the enemy-held village, but they're pinned down by heavy machine gun fire, coming from a fortified position on a hilltop. A standard bombing run. Too predictable, way too risky. Those machine gunners, they're dug in like ticks on a hand dog, just waiting for you to fly into their kill zone. But you're not a standard pilot. You've got the dive and weave up your sleeve, and you're about to show those machine gunners what it means to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight. You spot your opportunity. There's this narrow gap between the houses leading up the hillside, this path. It's barely wide enough for your plane. This is it, your moment to shine. You quickly communicate with your squad, let them know the plan. Hang tight, boys. Air support inbound. I'm going in for a close shave. You take a deep breath, and you push the nose of your plane down. You commit to the dive. The world tilts. Gravity's pulling you towards the earth at a speed that'd make a cheetah jealous. You hear the wind screaming past your cockpit, the engine roaring in defiance. You're aiming for that narrow gap between those houses, a corridor of brick and wood that leads straight to the enemy's nest. The machine gunners, they spot you. Their tracers are spitting fire, trying to clip your wings, but you're too fast. You're too low. Their bullets whiz past, harmlessly trailing behind. You're weaving now. Your plane's dancing between the houses, mere feet from their walls. It's a blur of motion, a test of reflexes and precision. You can almost feel the heat of the brick as you bank sharply, narrowly avoiding a chimney. Talk about threading the needle. And then you see them. The machine gun nest, exposed, vulnerable. At the top of the hill, your heart pounds in your chest, adrenaline surging through your veins. This is it, the moment of truth. You pull up slightly, you line up your shot, and you unleash a concentrated burst of fire. The machine gun nest explodes in a shower of sparks and debris, silencing the enemy's rain of fire. Sweet, sweet sound. You don't linger, you pull up hard, soaring back into the sky, leaving behind a trail of smoke and a lot of bewildered enemy troops. They erupt in cheers over the comms, thanking you for that life-saving support. You, my friend, are a hero, a legend, a dive and weave champion. That, my friends,
is the power of the dive and weave. It's more than just a maneuver. It's a statement. It's a declaration that you're not just a pilot. You're a force of nature. An unpredictable whirlwind of aerial fury is taking the enemy by surprise, hitting them where it hurts, and getting out before they can even blink. And the best part is, dive and weave isn't a one-trick pony. You can adapt it to different terrains. You can use canyons, valleys, even city streets. To your advantage, get creative, experiment. The possibilities are as limitless as your imagination and your piloting skills. So, there you have it, recruits. A crash course in plane tactics. Enlisted style, we cover the basics, the challenges, and the glorious adrenaline pumping. Dive and weave maneuver. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you fly, the more you experiment, the more you push the limits, the better you'll become. Now go out there, take to the skies, and show those enemy pilots what it really means to dominate the airspace. And hey, if you pull off an epic dive and weave, be sure to let me know. I love hearing about your aerial victories. Fly safe, fly smart, and most importantly, have fun out there.